So let's get this party started right.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disney with the Ducks. We're here today for episode 150, 150. Can you believe it's been 150 episodes? I can't. It seems like just yesterday. Today, we're going to discuss a little bit about Marathon Weekend. And before I forget, please, we covet your reviews and especially your 5-star reviews. So please give us your feedback. And if it's bad, you can go ahead and send that directly to Lonnie. But 5 stars would help us a lot. Any interviews help us a lot. We'd love to hear your feedback. I'm joined today by the lovely, the talented, the real heart and soul of the group, Jody B.
Hi, friends.
And Lonnie G.
Hey, everybody.
He still hates running, by the way. And you might think he didn't really exist because we talk about him, but you never see him or hear him. But the illustrious Master Jedi Kevin.
Hello there.
Hey, thank you so much for being with us today. To kick things off, you know how we like to start with a little icebreaker, a little get to know you question. So for those of us that were at Marathon Weekend, I want to know who's your favorite character that you ran into this weekend? And Kevin, you weren't there, but I mean, you've got a lot of Run Disney experience. So I'd love to hear your favorite character as well. You want to kick us off, Kevin?
Sure, no problem. So yeah, like you said, I've done several races. My favorite have always been Star Wars. Big surprise. But my favorite character in a race was, I guess it was 2019. And it was a really hot one, and just going into Epcot, yeah, Scooby-Doo, turn back time. But I was going into Epcot, it was blazing hot. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Chewbacca, and he was the right size and everything, a giant. I run up and give him a hug, and it's like hugging a wet towel. I mean, he was soaking wet, but I didn't care. It was awesome. So
Did he smell like a wet dog?
He smelled like a wet dog. But I did too, so it was,
I'm sure. He'd probably saying, ooh, Kevin smelled.
Yeah.
He actually went.
Yeah.
Goodness. Lonnie, what about you?
Well, I would say my favorite character is Kevin because he's a very rare character. We don't see him too often, but there he is.
Not often on the courses, no.
So the rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. So he's back. That's my favorite character. But if you're talking about Run Disney specific, I think before the race, having an opportunity to take a picture with Dopey was pretty cool. So I'm going to go with Dopey pre-race picture as being my favorite character. And look like I actually hit a card with Jody.
I mean, if you're going to do the Dopey challenge, you got to get Dopey. I mean,
you got to get Dopey.
You have to do it.
Do you though?
Yes, you do.
Because a good friend would say to their other friend, hey, did you happen to know that Dopey is doing photos right now before the race? Maybe you should go get a picture with him. Yeah, didn't know that. Didn't see that.
Okay, so say
I'm talking right now, Lonnie G. You beat. Let me just say. Do you want to know how I saw that you all met Dopey? I was scrolling through those photos that I got for you all through the friends and family, and looked and saw pictures of you all with Dopey.
Oh,
I have a picture with Dopey? No, Gene, you do not either. Does Lonnie? Yes.
Who are you calling y'all?
Yes. Do all of our friends, all you people, do you hear me? I'm calling you people right now, Lonnie G. You people have pictures with and I do not. So yeah, maybe a little salty about that situation. So no, the Binnings have no photos with Dopey this trip, none whatsoever, because I did not know that Dopey was there for a photo opportunity.
Now, you know, Jody, Dopey is always there for the Dopey challenge.
Okay, I got a question. So is it bad luck to get a picture with Dopey before you do the marathon? Or is it bad luck to do it on 5K, 10K, or half day and wait till the marathon day? Or is it okay to get on the 5K?
I mean, I think anytime you can take a picture with Dopey is cool. I mean, we took him before the marathon. I think the only gree is wearing the race distance shirt the day of that race. It's the bad gree.
That's bad.
Everything else is okay and acceptable.
Yep.
There's so many people that do that too, and it's really interesting.
Yeah. I think I saw a couple of people with the marathon shirt on. They was running the marathon. I was like, ooh, that's bad gree. Now, I don't know if they finished or not, but hopefully they did, because seeing those, if you didn't and you seen those photo pass people and you see your picture come through and you see you running with the shirt, yeah, that's not too good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jody, that we didn't tell you about that.
That's okay. I see where the love lies, and not for me.
I don't think you were there when we took those pictures, though.
I was there. 3:00 in the morning. I was there.
Okay. You were tardy a couple days, though.
I was tardy the first day because my bus decided to loop Caribbean Beach Resort twice, even though we were not staying at Caribbean Beach Resort. But I was not tardy the other 3 days. I was there plenty early.
So what is your favorite picture then, Jody B?
My favorite picture was from the full marathon in Tomorrowland. Friends of Stitches were out. I believe it was Ruben and Sparky, who are, and I actually, it's not because I necessarily love them, but because my daughter loves them. And that was pretty fun to get a picture that she was super excited about. And I thought they were pretty rare because I've never seen them out before.
Yeah. I remember seeing them.
Yes. Ruben and Sparky, Lilo and Stitch's friends, apparently. What about
Sparky
you?
Look, fun fact: Sparky was Chevy Chase's nickname, Clark's nickname, and by his wife in the Vacation movies. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My favorites. I didn't take a lot of character pictures. I don't have a lot of time for the character spots. Especially when you're trying to catch up to people or whatever, trying to stay ahead of balloon ladies and such. So I did the Star Wars pictures. Did take pictures with not Phasma. I don't care. I just don't care. But Darth Vader for sure, and Chewbacca, and it's probably Chewbacca because I have respect for Darth Vader, but he's the dark side. I'm not all about evil. I'm about good.
He's broken.
Chewbacca is good.
He made the bad choices, but Chewbacca never did.
He did.
He stuck by Han.
That's right.
All the way through. So.
All the way through. Yep. So that's my favorite
part of the course by far. That was a cool part of the course. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. They did that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yep.
Rey was really cool.
There's a couple.
And her get up her robe, but she was probably cold.
So. I actually saw Rey in the parks before that, and when I was at meeting y'all, and I wasn't, it wasn't time to meet y'all yet, so I just jumped on Smuggler's Run and a single rider line, and I got out, and Rey was standing there, and I said, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" And she said, "It depends. If you can keep it a secret." I said, "Of course." She grilled me. She asked me some questions, made sure I wasn't a first order spy or anything like that, and took a picture with me. And I said, "I've never run into you before." And she said, "That's probably because when people run into me, it doesn't end good for them." And I said, "Well, that makes plenty of sense. So it's great." So it was a different Rey, though.
Did you go straight over to the first order outfitter and tell them that you saw Rey?
Of course not. I'm a man of my word.
Okay.
So, hey, thanks for sharing that. Fun stuff. And so we're going to go ahead and get into just a little bit of recap of the races. And we started, obviously, with a 5K. Do we want to start there? Or we want to start before that?
don't know. I think our Wednesday was pretty epic. Do we want to start with Wednesday?
Yeah, how was that?
Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm only going to say that I now forever I'm going to do the expo the Lonnie and Jean way and not the Jody, Tim, and Katie way, because Jody, Tim, and Katie went to the expo first thing and stood in the long lines, and not so fun. Although it was Katie's first Dopey, so she had merch that she needed to get. So
yeah, she's all about some merch. So that's
that was important. She actually made it to the line before we did, but those lines were terrible. You all got there much later than we did. What time did you get to the expo? Like
3, maybe 3 o'clock, a little after 3.
And your lines were
minimal, very short.
Yeah. So I think I'll do that in the future because I'm not a merch person necessarily. Now, I did end up buying merch. Like that sweatshirt this year was absolutely phenomenal, but I still wouldn't have been able to purchase it during the expo because if you don't know that it's there, how do you know to get in line to buy it, right? Like, so I ended up, thank you, Hannah. I ended up getting the sweatshirt, but I don't think I'm going to go to the expo early. It's just too chaotic, not fun, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to fight the resellers, all that kind of good stuff. So let's be honest. The thing about it is, a lot of people, the things that were sold out were actually on eBay, like within 20, 30 minutes of the expo opening. So, it's one of the things I think need to get a handle on. But for the most part, getting there later, we were able to kind of go through the lines relatively quickly and get out, which was key. Right? So yeah.
Well, and it's not the best, I guess, to go stand in that line for hours and have to then run 4 days in a row after that. So,
yeah, as a matter of fact, the sweatshirt that I was so lucky that Hannah had 2 of them and I bought one off of her. She sent me a screenshot today that it's on eBay for $380.
Inconceivable.
That's
what Disney has to do stuff to try to stop that. That's crazy.
$55,
that is crazy.
$58, something around that. I mean,
yeah, there needs to be a way to tie it to your bib number or something where you at least get a shot at it.
Why can't they make Dopey participants or marathon or challenge participants have the lines just like they do for annual pass holders? You know how like if you want to buy the AP merch, you have to show them your AP pass? That's the challenge bib should be the same way. You should have to show them your pass in order to buy something from the challenge bib table. Anyway, not to start off on a negative. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm really, really thankful. And again, thank you, Hannah.
But it's facts though.
But it's got to figure that out. I don't understand. So, but the expo was crazy. But then we all left the expo, and where do we all go?
Disney Springs. So we had reservations at one of my favorite spots. Everybody knows it, Art Smith's Homecoming. So we went to Disney Springs and broke a little bread at Art Smith's.
Nice.
Art Smith kept it real.
A lot of chicken.
Man.
Oh man, many chickens were at that table, but as well as donuts and macaroni and other delicious sides, including church lady devil eggs and something else we got, hush puppies, right? So yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed our, hey look, we're carving up for the races. We had 4 days of running, right? So you have to make sure you get enough protein and carbs and that's the week. So.
And that's a good idea to eat there the day before the 5K because it's not as brutal as you wouldn't want to do that probably before marathon, but it's decent before the 5K.
It was. And then what do we do after dinner?
After dinner, we went. Actually, had a good little time. We strolled around Disney Springs, went to a couple of stores, and then actually went for a photo shoot at the Photo Pass Center, right? So we did that. That was exciting and brand new, kind of like the Love Boat. Did that, and I had some fun with that. Right, had some fun with that.
It was fun.
And then we went to the.
It was the day after my birthday, and y'all celebrated me in some of those photos, and so that was fun. I appreciate that. That made me feel lots of love, so that was neat. Appreciate that.
So for the listeners that don't know, this weekend is Gene's. So literally, it's Gene's birthday. So it's one of those things that's phenomenal, right? We just celebrate Gene the whole 4 days of Marathon Weekend. It's what do we call it? We call it the Geneversary. I don't know, something like that. I don't know, but it's like that. We do that. We just celebrate with Gene all the time.
We do.
If only it was really like that, that'd be great.
So for those of you who don't know, the Photo Pass, the location in Disney Springs is over kind of by the co-op, over in that area, kind of by the Pin Traders, by Earl Sandwich, and that direction of Disney Springs. and we just had a ridiculous time there. There were all these families, and then there was us being silly, having a good time. So
it was fun.
It was fun. It was all pure silliness. And then after we left there, we got to go explore the brand new DVC Welcome Center at Disney Springs.
Mm-hmm.
That was phenomenal. Don't you guys think?
Oh yeah. Look, it's
oh yeah, sure.
Upstairs, you get a chance to go out there and of course, every DVC lounge is pretty cool. But there's a couple of rooms. I think it's the 1 bedroom and a 2 bedroom that they have for Riviera there. So models of that. So it's a really good spot. Really nice. And the DVC guides were very nice.
Well, yeah. So, your best friend Nicole. I mean.
Yeah. So let me talk about this. So at the expo, we go. Lonnie's got to experience everything DVC. I don't know if it's a flex. I don't know. I hadn't decided what it really is, but he's got to go. There's a contest, and you scan a QR code or something. I don't know, and nobody wins. They claim that people win. Nobody wins, but I don't know if they could just tell by my demeanor that I wasn't a DVC owner, but I didn't get a lot of attention, a lot of love. But Lonnie and Katie did, and so they met a friend, and she's joking with him, and they're cutting up, and nobody likes to cut up more than me. She didn't want nothing. I mean, she was nice, but she was like standoffish nice. But like she was best friends with Lonnie and Katie. But it was very obvious, I guess, to her. She could just see. I didn't walk like a DVC member. I didn't talk like a DVC member. I didn't carry myself like a DVC member. I don't know exactly what it was. But so anyway, we go into the DVC, whole different place, not at the expo, at Disney Springs. And who walks in but their best friend? What was her name?
Nicole.
Not Nicole.
Yes,
Nicole, that was it? Okay, yeah. So Nicole walks in and hey! And so they hug, and I mean Katie's crying and Nicole's crying, and it's just it's like a family reunion. I mean, they long lost friends, right? And then at that point she warms up a little bit to me. And because I guess she figures maybe there's a chance he could be into DVC because he's with all these other DVC people. But still it wasn't the same. But it was really neat because it really, all jokes aside, she's a really neat person. And she told a story about, at some point she said, y'all know I'm famous, right? And like, no, didn't know that. And she said, yeah, I'm famous. And she told a story about how she got called into somebody's office. I don't remember who. And they presented her with an award because a year before she was somewhere and she was not where she was supposed to be. But she noticed the child choking and she hit the child on the back and she did the things to get the child unchoked. And she was a hero. And so there's a big thing on Instagram about it. And it's really a neat deal. But it's a very inspiring story. And all jokes aside, like I said, she's a really neat person. And we had a lot of fun in that DVC lounge. And I would normally
was unchoked.
I mean, it's just new words here. This new word.
I make them up.
I'm flabbergasted.
Unchoked is my favorite word. I think I'm going to use it all the time now. I'm so glad the child became unchoked.
That's what you do.
We actually, Katie and I were walking through Epcot on our way to ride Guardians, and we ran. She was at the DVC booth. We ran into her.
Yeah, are you serious?
And she was like, "Oh!" And we were across the hall. She screams like, "Oh!" She said, "Now this is just getting real awkward. Not stalking or just." I don't know, what is it, happenstance and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, we see you all the time, right? So she introduced us to her coworker that was there. So we started messing around with them as well. And I was like, yeah, guys, we got to go. We got reservations. and Jody and them are gonna be waiting for us over at Guardians of the Galaxy. So there you go. It was awesome.
She was awesome.
Fun stuff.
She was great. But anyway, if you have not been to the DVC Welcome Center at Disney Springs, highly recommend it. Pretty cool. I felt like we had to say a secret code to go to the upstairs area. I don't feel like they were going to show us that until we said
But can anybody get in? I don't think I could have got in without y'all. I just had to act like I knew what I was doing.
Oh, they let us in. So.
Well, y'all are DVC owners. I'm not.
It was pretty awesome. So I'd recommend checking it out. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So that was Wednesday. Wednesday was a lot of fun. And we had Gideon's. We got Gideon's that night too.
Nice. Got Gideon's that night too, yes.
Gene, I forgot to ask you, what did you think about the peanut butter cold brew?
Oh, you got it.
It was great. Oh yeah. So and good. I took a tiny little taste because I wanted to be able to go to sleep. I wasn't able to go to sleep, but little bitty sip of it and put it in my fridge. And I had it the next morning before the 5K. Really, I don't know that I would have tried it if I'd have just seen that on a menu or somebody would have just said, oh, try this. But they raved about it. And so I said, peanut butter, what is it? Peanut butter latte or something like that?
Cold brew. Peanut butter cold brew.
Yeah, whatever. Peanut butter cold brew. Kevin, you know everything. And so I got it and it was phenomenal. It really was. Mm-hmm.
That was good. That was a good evening. That was a fun Wednesday. We had a good time on Wednesday.
Yep.
Even though Flight of Passage broke down on us in the morning, that was not a good start. But we took revenge on that later. But anyway, Wednesday was a good day.
Yep, sure was. Well, okay, so what happened on Thursday?
Man, the worst part.
Froze.
The worst part.
Froze.
The running part. It's horrible.
So you had a cold weekend.
Oh.
That's the first time since 2018, I guess. Somewhere around there. Every weekend's been hot since then.
But at least the 5K is not like one where we're necessarily going to, the way we run it, we're going to shed stuff. So it wasn't that, I didn't feel like that was that bad.
So the hockey jerseys were much better this time than last time.
Yeah, for sure.
Did Tim complain about the hockey jersey?
No, in fact, Tim said he's glad that we went with that hockey jersey because it was cold. It was cold.
I actually had a robe. I bought a throwaway robe and had the robe on, and it was nice and snuggly and warm. Katie had on 15 different layers, and she was all wrapped up. Lonnie ran with a scarf around his face and his head the whole time. And I mean, it was cold. It was cold, and I like cold weather, and it was cold.
Yeah, but 5K overall was really nice. A lot of characters, a lot of people, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we finished the 5K and we were in this kind of weird time zone. We couldn't decide if we needed to go back to our resort and change and get ready and go to brunch or just go to brunch. And so we decided just to go to brunch.
I mean, we walked the whole 5K, right? So
we were not in any rush to get finished with it. So we all get on the bus to Beach Club, Yacht Club, one of those places. And Gene, this is the first time you were famous. You want to tell the story?
Oh, I mean, so behind me, I heard somebody say something about the jerseys and I heard somebody say podcast and I didn't think, anything of it really. And then somebody said, "Hey, are you Gene?" And I said, "I might be, or maybe," or something like that. And she said, you're on the Disney with the Ducks podcast. And I said, I sure am. And then she said, "Oh, that's Lonnie." And yeah, so that was kind of cool,
Yeah.
Nice.
It was, and I'm so glad people said something to us. But I told Gene, it's kind of like, it's crazy. I think, we had people telling us, hey, they love the podcast. I was like, I thought we only had 3 listeners. Really, I thought we had 3, but a lot of people said they like it. So,
nice.
It's good that somebody's listening to us.
Yeah.
It was fun. So we go to brunch and we're sitting there forever. And there's 24 people for reservation for brunch at Ale.
Where at? Oh yeah.
And so I'm trying to be like, okay, so we have 24. Could you possibly sit us together? Here's our reservations. Here's the names. I'm pulling up the Google app, looking at the sheets, trying to get it all organized. They end up doing, they told me that it was going to be 2 tables of 12, but it was you people. You guys had 2 tables of 6, right? And then I had a table of 12. So we were on opposite ends of the restaurant. Unfortunately, I will say there are a couple of things that happen. Who wants to break the bad news to Kevin?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Gene.
Don't say it.
I'll just preface it like this. There was a menu change. Gene, I'll leave it to you.
I'll tell you, I like to be a glasses half full kind of guy. And the first time we went, one of the best breakfasts I ever had. The company was great, but I mean, the company paled in comparison to the blueberry bacon pancakes. Okay.
Yes.
And then the next time it wasn't on the menu, but it was on the buffet. I don't believe there was a buffet the first time we went. And that was it was still there. So it was okay. This time I asked, I said, hey, I don't see the bacon blueberry pancakes. And they said, yeah, we don't have that on the menu anymore. I said, what?
Oh, no.
They said, no, we don't have those. No pancakes at all. They had some waffles.
No pancakes at all?
No pancakes at all.
Wow.
Yeah, they had Mickey waffles and they had chicken and waffles, but no pancakes. And I just don't get why you would take a staple, a loved
perfection
menu item like that.
That is perfection.
I mean, it was, you could hear the wailing and the gnashing of teeth all over the restaurant,
People had sackcloth on. They tore their clothes.
Oh, yeah.
They put ash on. It was
ashes.
Beautiful.
Yep.
I would have been in tears. That's for sure.
It was, and not only that, but unfortunately, I think that the food quality definitely has gone down. Things were not as
for
good.
Sure.
And here's the even crazier thing. So at Tim's table, and I can't remember who, somebody ordered like the all-American breakfast and wanted toast, and they didn't have toast. Like they couldn't give them toast with their eggs.
But what did they have?
French toast. They did have French toast,
so
but they didn't give them toast.
But you can't get American toast.
So,
that's insane.
So yeah,
you have toast, but you don't have French toast, but you have toast.
Tim, you know what Tim did? Tim ripped his menu and he threw it up in there and stormed out. No, he didn't.
It was
great though.
But it was cold, and so he didn't rush out because you don't want to pull a hammy when you still got 3 runs to go. So he did storm out, but he stormed out slower than the average storm out.
So, we have for many years spoken incredibly highly of Ale and Compass brunch breakfast. We've loved it, and I would say overall this year was a flop. I don't know that any of us liked our meal, and they were accommodating with our huge group, which was nice. I will give them props for that,
Yeah.
but the food quality has gone way down, and that's really sad because that was one of our. We have talked just super highly of that place, and and I don't know that any of us loved our meal. Mine was barely edible, so it was sad. It was a sad situation, but we turned it around, didn't we, guys?
Yeah, we
did
those frowns upside down.
Yes, we did.
For sure.
Yes, we did.
For sure.
So after breakfast, you're still jerseyed up, hockey jersey.
We were. I think we all left and went back to our resorts then, right? Didn't we go? I'm pretty sure we all went back.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we did because I was staying at the boardwalk, so we walked from Yacht Club over, following Gene's favorite body of water, which is.
I mean, you all know it. Crystal Lakes, of course.
There you go. So following the lakes and went out and we just walked to boardwalk and settled ourselves at some time.
Did you leave with Tim? Because Tim didn't leave with me. Did you leave with Tim back on the Skyliner to go back to the resort?
Y'all weren't staying at.
No, but we were on the Skyliner.
You were at. Where did y'all stay?
I was at Riviera.
No, I think Caleb and I rode back together.
Well, Tim, the only reason I know that I was by myself is because I walked back to the Skyliner by myself, and I had both snack boxes, both bananas. He left everything for me. So I had all the crap, and I was carrying it back all by myself. And I was all by myself in the Skyliner. So I assumed you left with Tim.
Tim's got it figured out, doesn't he?
Man, let me tell you, Tim empowered you.
Yes, he did.
Right, to take care of that. I mean, he wouldn't do that to anybody else. So to me, that's a flex. He empowered you.
It was something.
Good for you, Jody. Good for you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so then we go back, everybody showers, gets ready, and then we met back at Epcot, because what was the first thing that we had to do when we get to Epcot? Well,
get popcorn.
Well,
Guardians.
Yeah. Yes, Guardians. So we all go
popcorn.
And popcorn. We all go to Guardians. We get Disco Inferno, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Disco Inferno.
So y'all were all in the same car?
Well,
same ride vehicle?
Yeah, I think we had 2 cars. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we ride. We go back on again because that was our virtual queue. And then we also had a paid individual lightning lane. And the way that the timing worked, by the time we got through the virtual queue, we went to the individual lightning lane. We rode again. And guess what song we got?
Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno.
And Kevin, just know we thought about you because we remember when you rode back to back what happened.
Oh man, that was brutal. I was, oh man, that brings back memories. And then popcorn.
Was it Tim that said I couldn't do it? I couldn't do it again, or something like that?
It was the Tim said I could do this all day. Which one did he say?
I don't know.
I don't know.
So then we said peace out to Epcot, and then what did we do?
We went over to Animal Kingdom. We park hopped this bad.
Nice.
We did. We went over to Animal Kingdom. We had a little bit of fun over there. We met up with some more people. It was pretty fun over there. That was a big group. And,
yeah, I had a lot of fun.
We went to Centuli Cantina. Did that. Hung out there for a while. Had a couple of tables.
I had those cheeseburger puff things.
Those are so good. Those are so good.
They're okay. I don't know. You know what? Overall, my food this whole trip was Art Smith's was top. But overall, it was just not as great as it's been in the past. But I still had a great time. So it's all good. I'm glad I tried them,
So we did something that needed to be done, which was we rode first Expedition Everest, had to say hello to the Yeti, Disco Yeti that is. And then we strolled over to the greatest ride of all time, Dinosaur, R.I.P.
Future Indiana Jones.
So we had a little moment there. Lonnie had a little moment. And then because we're idiots, we had 7 minutes to get from Dinosaur to Flight of Passage before the park closed. 7 minutes. Kevin, do you think we made it?
I think that you almost made it.
Oh no.
You made it?
You ran? And guess what? I was behind them. I was behind them.
Speed walking and running in certain spots.
You'd have to run. You'd have to run some. That's just there's no way I could just walk.
The word you're looking for,
I was a couple of minutes behind y'all.
Not wise whatsoever to run. Knowing we had, I think everybody had like 30,000 steps on it. I mean, and we ran over there. So our legs are already tired, and we still have a 10K, a half in the full, but we made it. And then we had to go up through the queue, walk the queue. We were the last group to get on.
Wow.
And when we got on, and we still had to go through the queue, we got on it, and then it just kind of died for like 15 minutes. I know I looked over, Gene was taking a nap or something.
Oh yeah, it really was. I really need to go sleep.
It literally just stopped.
That sounds like a government worker at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, and then it started. It's crazy.
It was we waited there we were in those motorcycle things for a long time.
Banshee. I think the word you're looking for, Jody, is a Banshee. We was on the Banshee.
Yeah.
You sat on the Banshee for that all
for like
that
20 minutes we sat on that Banshee. I looked over and Gene was sleeping on that Banshee. His head was down.
I guess if they're comfy enough, was it the breathing that kind of puts you to sleep like a white noise machine kind of thing?
Yeah, and it rumbled like right there in your chest.
It's like
But it's the thing, we wrote it. It came back on, we wrote it, and this is the thing. When we got out off that ride, everything was closed. I think we were the last people in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was 7 o'clock, and the park shuts down at 6. I didn't get back to Pop till almost 8, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in bed for 6 o'clock tonight." I had 2 previous nights in a row of like an hour and a half of sleep. I was beat, and they walk. We walk all over the place. I was going to say they walk me all over the place, but you know how it goes. There's a lot of peer pressure involved in that weekend.
Oh yeah, it keeps you going though.
Mm-hmm. So we closed down Animal Kingdom that night. Maybe not the smartest thing we've ever done, but it was fun. It's a good time. All right, then Friday was 10K day. And that one, was that cold that morning? I don't feel like that was super. I guess it was
No, it was cold.
It was cold. I had on a sweatshirt. Yeah, I'm lying. It was cold. So that was 10K day. We ran, Tim and I ran by ourselves. I don't know why. I don't know how that happened. I don't like doing that. So, but then how was your race, you two? Did you guys have a good 10K?
Yeah, 10K was cool. We fell back. We all rode. It was so Sarah joined us on this one, and we all fell back to Jean's Corral. So I think it was E. Yeah, we fell back to E. So
F, G, C, whatever.
So we had a good time. I mean, we did a nice little interval. Took our time because we want to save our legs. Number one, we were tired because we didn't get back to the room because we closed down Animal Kingdom. After you shower and everything, so you're tired, you're waking up. Yeah, but it was a good 10K. Cold, but a good 10K.
Yeah,
a lot of characters, just like before. So yeah, liked it.
And then we all met at Hollywood Studios that day, and man, we packed on the steps in Hollywood Studios. We hit that park hard. Jean, you were already there when Tim and I got there, and then Lonnie, you and Katie met us there. We did just about everything in that park plus some. I mean, only thing we didn't do Rise of Resistance because we wanted $25 that day for an individual lightning lane.
Man,
and we're like,
it's not. Nah.
We didn't do it, but we did buy Lightning Lane that day. Shout out to the blue tent guy who helped us because we all had different times and stuff, and he helped us figure all that out. We did some serious steps in Hollywood Studios that day.
Toy Story Mania, Slinky Dog, Millennium Falcon, Tower of Terror, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway, about 3 buckets of popcorn.
It got hot too. It got hot.
It was hot popcorn. We did everything in that park, man. To Jody's point, we put some steps on in that park.
Yeah. And the problem with lightning lanes is you're bouncing back and forth too. So where normally you can, we were at Tower of Terror, then we had to go back to Millennium Falcon. We're bouncing like this and not making.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah, it was.
And not a lot of shade or anything like that. It wears you down.
And it wasn't hot. It was the warmest that day, but it wasn't. I mean, most of us had on long sleeve shirt and pants still, but it did get warmer that day for the first time and the only time, really, right? I mean, I don't think it got warmer the rest of the weekend. So we put in.
Well, I was trying to find y'all, and I was going back and forth, and that's when I got warm because I was wearing, you had a jacket on, and and I'm going, and it's not y'all's fault. I mean, I was just going back and forth from one place to the other, and moving a lot more than I really want, than I needed to be, and I got a little warm, but it was a good day.
I think this was the best temperature-wise day. I really believe it was.
Yeah. Then we all left Hollywood Studios, and we went over to Epcot to go have dinner at Tepanito in the Japan Pavilion. And I have to say that was also another part where the cast members, shout out to the cast members at that restaurant, because we had a bunch of different reservations, and really Laura was key. Laura helped work all this out because there were 3 different reservations with maybe 6 or 8, and she ended up working it all out. There were 20 of us total. And so we had 2 different tables of 10 at the Hibachi Grill, and we were in the same room. We were all together. That was that was really nice. That was a great evening. I really enjoyed that evening.
So did I. The only problem with that evening was having to walk back to the boardwalk after, because we already had a bunch of steps on us. So there you go. But still very good. And I think Tepanito was actually, that was my first time there. So really, I really enjoyed it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, but the fact that they were able to get 20 of us in, 10 and 10 in the same room, I mean, that was pretty sweet. So
that's impressive.
Big shout out to those cast members for working that out, because that was pretty awesome. Anything else about that night, guys?
I think you captured it.
Hey, we're gonna go ahead and recap the half and the full on our next show, but that leaves us at our favorite part of the podcast, as well as yours. I know for sure it's yours, listeners. But that's Quacking Up with the Ducks. And so, Kevin, can you make us laugh today?
So, as some of you know, we adopted, or we are fostering another dog. So now we have 2 dogs. But I can't take my dogs to the pond anymore at the park. The ducks keep attacking them. It's I guess that's what I get for getting a purebred dog.
Thanks, Kevin. What about you, Lonnie?
I got a question, guys. How did I know my wife thought I was invading her privacy? I read it in her diary. Some of you guys to get that later. That's one of those kind of jokes.
What about you, Jody?
We're talking about running in races, and it made me think, does anyone know why the marathon runner ended up in jail?
I have no idea.
Cut the course?
For resisting arrest.
You guys did a lot of that on those first 2 days. That's for sure. Resisting arrest.
Well, I don't have a joke, but I did have something very strange happen to me. I was walking down the street yesterday, and it's the craziest thing. I was hit by a violin first, then a clarinet, then a French horn, and I gotta think it's an orchestrated attack.
That's hilarious.
Well, hey, thank you, listeners, for bearing with us today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jody, for your insight into the races. We're going to recap the half and the full on our next show, and so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I want to remind you, reviews, we appreciate them. 5-star reviews, especially. Any complaints, don't send them to Kevin. Don't send them to Jody. Obviously, Jody's the best thing going on with this show. Send them to Lonnie, because they're because of him, and he deserves them. So send those to him. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to add today before we sign off?
I mean, I think we had a pretty clean show, but did the lawyers have anything to say?
Yeah. The following podcast, or the previous podcast recap, is brought to you by early wake-up calls, questionable costume choices, and the collective joy of finishing 6.2 magical miles. Listener side effects may include mental envy, sudden cravings for Mickey-shaped snacks, and a burning desire to join a Disney race weekend. In this episode, we focus on the 5 and 10K races because, let's face it, there's only so much energy we have left after waddling through those courses. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll tackle the half and full marathons and all the drama that comes with them. Now, for full transparency, Jody hosted this episode while also running both races, proving once again she's a powerhouse of pixie dust and perseverance. Lonnie is the master. It's worth noting that Lonnie is the mastermind who twists Gene's arm into signing up for these dumb races in the first place. And Kevin joined us today for the podcast, but wasn't at Marathon Weekend, bringing fresh energy and lots of FOMO to the discussion. Please note, no ducks were harmed in the making of this podcast, though several were thoroughly out of breath after the 10K. Results may vary depending on training levels, snack strategies, and whether you dodged Lonnie's enthusiastic pep talks at the start line. If you experience excessive laughter, mental shopping, or the uncontrollable urge to join us the next race weekend, lace up those running shoes and quack along for the next episode. Thanks for waddling through this journey with us. Thanks so much for being here.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.